Hey guys, this is Magamu, and this is Nier Automata, a game I've put about 12 or 13 hours into, and I wanted to give you guys my base impressions, not a full review, of what I think about the game so far, but because there are so many games that are coming out right now, and this is a $60 game, and I was just worried that it might get drowned out amongst like the 200-pound gorilla in the room, that's Mass Effect, and of course a couple other PS4 games coming out like Neo and Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost Recon. All of these games are coming out, and I wanted to do a little something on this one first because I've put so many hours into it. Now, the story of Nier Automata is humans are gone, and this is a dystopian world where machines have taken over. And it's your job to clean it up. You take on the role of these androids from some base in outer space, and the main characters that you take control of are 2B and her companion 9S. Now, these androids are pretty much going to be very self-reflective. It drives the story, and it's all about maybe like self-discovery and sentience between androids and machines. You could definitely tell from the name 2B, but it's all about these machines and these inhabitants of the world finding their own, finding love and religion and all of these things that humans would normally find, but the machines are growing in sentience and finding it for themselves.
An android? No.
Now, the genre is where things get weird because from the promotional videos, you would think this is a spectacle fighter from all the Twitch play and that type of thing, but this is actually a lot more because the camera of this game is not shy at all. The camera will spin around, go in weird angles and all types of things, and this will go from a third-person spectacle fighter to a androids, or even a twin-stick shooter, and just overall a bullet hell type experience with its mini bosses and its arenas. The camera is moving all over the place, and it's giving you all of these different experiences in a single game. And that's really cool because once you first fire up the game, you're not really sure what you're going to get. But overall, this game goes in many different directions. And one of those directions is open world. Yes, this goes from a bullet hell twin stick shooter, third person spectacle fighter, all the way to an open world RPG with RPG elements. And the way the open world works is you can walk to some of the cities and different locations in the world. There's a map that's not really all that great. That's definitely a point that could be improved on. The game is very self-aware, it does mention that. But there are specifically paths that you have to walk to. So for instance, you can't just walk from city A to city B. You have to have an idea. Like for instance, there is a carnival area, and to get to a village, you have to specifically know to go to the back of the carnival, go around the fence, go up the bridge, and then go through the forest into that area. And this can become very daunting and very confusing. If this is your first playthrough of the game, yes, there are multiple playthroughs where it almost becomes a walking simulator. This is even more evident when you're doing a lot of the side quests, and things can become very confusing. You can spend a lot of time just walking in this game. I definitely would recommend grouping up some of your side quests if you want to level up your character, and then going to those cities in clumps of missions, but don't try to go from place to place because it's going to take you a lot of time. The great thing is about 2, 3, or maybe even 4 hours in, you will unlock fast travel, and that's going to be your best friend. You're going to be so glad about that. Now, the other cool thing about the open world is this world actually changes, and I think that's very important because the world itself isn't that great, but as those large-scale anime battles start to happen in the world, you'll see large open areas, a lot of damage to the world, or even machines that were massive will actually stay there after those battles. And it makes the world a lot more dynamic. You can actually see the effects of the story on the world around you. That makes a big difference. Now, combat is really cool, and it's pretty much standard fare if you've played any type of spectacle shooter. You've got light attacks, heavy attacks, and then you can chain those light and heavy attacks together. You can equip different weapons that will influence the way those light and heavy attacks work. You can make combos and group those combos together and do dodges. So the fluidity in all of that is once you get really used to fighting a group of enemies, knowing when to dodge and then when to counter and then use those attacks, this becomes a wild spectacle, a wild ride of watching those animations, landing those combos, and it is very rewarding to see a lot of that damage land, and your character will deal tons of damage the more you get used to pulling off those combos, parrying, dodging, and then returning with attacks. Even versus bosses, this is going to be really cool stuff. Now, another cool mechanic is going to be the way this game handles saving and dying. Now, if you connect to the internet, which I definitely recommend you do, if another player dies in their own world, their own single player world, you actually find the body and then you have two options. You can repair it and then have that person fight alongside you, controlled by a NPC, or you can scavenge that and take parts and buffs and money from that actual body. You've got two choices there. But the thing that's really cool about this is this actually applies to you. So you can actually choose the text that's dropped once you die, which is very Dark Souls, but not very specific in the message. You can only have maybe 3 or 4 phrases that you string together to give other players a message of what happened to you. It's not really useful, but what is cool is you have to go back in the world and retrieve your body, because all of your progression is tied to your android body. So if you don't go back or you don't get back in time, you don't get all of the progression, your plugins that were installed on your original body, and that's not good. You want to get back and get it. Now, this brings me to progression, because this is an RPG at the end of the day. And the way this is going to work is you're going to have pod programs. Your pod is something like a Sentinel in Warframe, where you will be able to shoot and it gives you overall range damage, but you can upgrade this with things like damage, defense, or even scanning, finding hidden items in the world. And the thing that's going to be most important here as far as progression is the plugins. And this is where things get confusing. On your first playthrough, it might be a little bit hard to figure out how this works. So your character gets plugins. It's essentially a stack like you would see if you look at the way a hard drive works in a computer. And then you slot these chips in. Now, these chips could be anything from basic functionality of your Android, like its HUD or basic element survival, all the way to things like attack, defense, support, or any other miscellaneous thing. Now, the better that these plugins work, the chips themselves, the more space they take up, and the more you progress your character, you could buy more space. So the great thing about that is it's not just base progression where you can slot these in. You actually get 4 loadouts that you can choose from. And originally, I didn't really see the value in this, but the more I got to some of the tougher bosses in the game, and trust me, this game has a weird situation where the difficulty will just randomly ramp up on you. When that happens, you can go to your plugin chips. And what you can do is create a set of plugins that work specifically for that battle. So let's say you come up against a boss that's meleeing you a lot. Well, what you want to do is create another loadout where you've got plug-in chips that are based around melee defense, where you take less damage from melee attacks. And that's really going to get you through that battle. You can also use items that will reduce melee damage specifically for that battle. And that's going to help with a lot of the ramping up of difficulty in this game, because this game can go from extremely easy through most of the basic normal campaign to just certain areas where it's just really hard and it might catch you off guard. And those loadouts in your chips is a great way to get around those really difficult difficulty spikes. Now, if you can get through this game, hallelujah, congratulations, but you are not out of the water yet, because this game is going to have multiple playthroughs. This is something that definitely caught me off guard. There are multiple endings. You're going to have to play through this game multiple times to see everything as far as the lore and story of this game. The good thing about that is it's not an exact playthrough, because you'll be able to have access to other characters. You can see other character perspectives, other cutscenes from different angles. So it's not just playing straight through all of the time. I'm only on my second playthrough, so I can't speak specifically about that. But already I can see changes in the story that I didn't see the first time through, which this is a great Game Plus experience, and hopefully this will add a ton of playability to it. Now, I do have some mild complaints about Nier Automata. It's a great game, so a lot of my complaints aren't really that big of a deal. I think on your first playthrough, your early game, there's a lot of walking. There's a lot of backtracking through areas to get where you want to go. And overall, this is eventually solved by fast travel, but this might actually throw off some new players where they might think, holy crap, I'm having to walk through some of the same areas over and over. And a large percent, maybe 30–40% of your playtime is going to be spent on walking until you unlock fast travel. That's going to be a problem, and that definitely puts this into walking simulation territory. But again, fast travel solves it, so it's not really that big of a deal. Some of the side quests, the early side quests, are really boring. There's some fetch quests here and there. Now, the game seems to be a little self-aware, because even one of the characters notes that it's boring, and he says that it's boring.
Okay, that's everything the supply trader asked for. Man, these chores are a real pain in the butt, huh?
The Resistance is a valuable ally to Yorha. By helping them, we also help ourselves. So no, I don't think they're a pain.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that maybe they were just trying to make some statement about MMOs and fetch quests and side quests overall, and maybe not just intentionally doing that. Now, if you get this game on PC, there are a few slight hitches with the map loading going from one area to the next. That's totally expected on most open world games, so that's not really that big of a deal. The big problem is if you get this game on PC, there's no borderless window mode. So if you want to go to your second monitor, check your email, or do anything, check Twitter, and you tab out, the game will switch to window mode and it won't switch back automatically. That's a big problem, because you're going to have to dig all the way through the menus to go back in, put the game back in full screen mode, and play again. I would definitely recommend checking Twitter or email on your phone for the entirety of playing this on PC, because it is just a huge headache to tap in and out of this game over and over. It's a nightmare. Overall, this is a great game. I have to give it a lot of credit. The atmosphere is amazing. The way they use color, black and white, highlight colors, the backgrounds, the imagery walking from area to area is absolutely amazing. The big thing here is the music. Oh my God, one of the most amazing musical soundtracks for a game I've seen in a while. The way that these songs are multi-layered, they've got voice tracks laid down on top of those layers, and I don't know why there's not a soundtrack. I have to make sure I get the soundtrack for this game, because this is going to be great just riding around in the car and listening to this. There's a jukebox in the game where you can go back and listen to all of the music and then listen to the individual layers of it, but just walking from area to area, getting into big boss fights, and then going back into maybe more calm areas of the game. The music is the foundation of this game. It's so important, and it's what really pulls it together. It makes it really great, and I think the music is going to be a major selling point. I think that's something that you're going to really love about this. But overall, Nier Automata is great. It's an amazing third person something and something else. There's so much going on here, and I think you're going to be able to appreciate just the many layers of what this game has to offer. So that's it. I'll be playing a little bit more of this. I might upload a few more videos of this, and then I'll be on to Mass Effect Andromeda. We'll be back into the Warframe content soon as things fire back up, but until then, maybe we'll get more videos out. All right, talk to you guys soon.